What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the $16,771.63 loss that I took on CCIV between yesterday and today. Now, there's a lot that I want to go over in this, but I really want you guys to watch the end on this because this is such a horrible feeling, and there's a lot of really good tips because I've taken a lot of time to reflect on why this happened. And I've made some good rules to avoid ever feeling like this again, and I think you guys will benefit a lot from this. There's also a couple things that were a little bit outside of my control, but now that I know what they are, I know what to do in the future to prevent them. And if you guys want to avoid taking a loss like this, I recommend you watch the end. If you haven't already liked this video, I would really appreciate that. It's not saying you like the fact that I'm taking a loss, it's just showing your support. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already because this loss does not define me, and in general, we're still doing great. Everyone has been doing really well in the Discord today, and I love to see that. So basically what happened was, again, just to give a little bit of the backstory, I finished yesterday, and Fidelity was having some issues with cost basis, and occasionally that will happen. I don't know why. I don't know if it's for everyone or if it's, you know, just for some people, but they just randomly have tickers where it will not tell you your closed gain or loss at the end of the day, and you have to wait until market open the next day, or like I guess the next day. It doesn't have to be market open, but the next day you'll find out what you made on that ticker. And if you guys will recall, I had a goal of hitting 100,000 profit this month, and because of that, I was trying to average $5,000 a day. And it turns out that yesterday, between my profits on OZSC and INKW, that was an extra like over $4,000 in profit that I didn't have registered. So when I closed out the day, it only told me that I made about $1,500 because all those other profits hadn't come through yet. And because of that, I think I was a little more anxious to push it a little bit more to help hit that goal of hitting, you know, 5K a day and 100,000 by the end of the month. So I was gonna trade after hours, but if you guys were in the Discord, you remember there was some low float stock spiking up. And then I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to give back these profits that I have today. I'm going to walk away and just shut the computer down. So I went upstairs for like an hour and a half and, you know, didn't make any other trades. But then when I came back downstairs to film the video, you know, I get everything set up. I turn on all the lights. I turn on my computer. And as soon as I open Thinkorswim, Fidelity's trading software, literally 2 seconds later, the press release comes out that CCIV had officially, you know, what was going to be the SPAC for Lucid Motors. Literally 2 seconds later, and it felt like it was, I don't know, it felt like it was almost destined. You know, I sit down and literally get a press release the second, you know, and I've been obviously waiting for that press release. A lot of people had, and it almost felt like destiny. And so I decided to make a trade on it, and well, the rest is history. I was trading after hours, and what happened was you can't trade after hours with big size because there's additional risks that you guys might not be aware of. So Fidelity, to even trade after hours, you have to sign an agreement that says you're aware of the additional risks. You know it's not the same as normal market hours. They can't guarantee executions, etc., stuff like that. And what I thought that meant was, you know, after hours, there's less routing options, so executions could be a little bit slower, things could take a little bit longer. That's what I thought it meant. But apparently what it means is, let me read you exactly what they said to me, because I actually put it in the Discord. They said, it looks like this isn't unheard of in extended hours trading sessions. All cancellations are done on a best efforts basis. When the system is unable to cancel the trades automatically, someone from our order room cancels them manually. But they are not there in post-market sessions. So basically what they're saying is whenever you place an order but then you cancel it, it should be done automatically, but sometimes it's not. And they have someone literally who's sitting in a room and he cancels your order manually. I don't know how that's still a thing in the 21st century. That makes no sense to me. But apparently they still have someone manually canceling orders, and that dude just leaves as soon as the market closes. So if you're trading after hours, there's a chance that you could have happen what happened to me. And I've never felt so helpless in my life because, again, I tried to sell my shares. I tried to cut my losses at $50. And again, I bought, 1,000 shares, average of 52.70 or something like that. And I tried to cut at $50. And if I had taken that loss there, it would have been a, $2,700 loss plus the $1,500 loss that I already locked in. I finished 6,000 yesterday, minus 1,500. So I finished 4,500 yesterday before, talking about any of the other stuff. So I still would have been green on the day, even if I'd gotten executed there and taken another 2,700 on top of the 1,500 I already lost on CCIV. But because I canceled the order, it didn't cancel. And there was no one there to cancel it. And the Fidelity didn't have anyone in their order canceling room. So it just sat there pending cancel. And when it's pending cancel, you can't place any new sell orders. Luckily, it was day plus, so at the end of the day, it canceled, and I was able to sell in pre-market. But I mean, literally, I was screwed. If that thing had gone to zero, I wouldn't have been able to cut my losses. Never felt more helpless in my life. So because of this, I'm making a couple new rules for myself. The first one is I'm never trading in after hours again. And might I miss out on some opportunities because of that? Yeah, there's a chance that I do. But for me, risking not being able to cancel an order and not being able to sell shares that I have, not being able to cut losses, is not a risk that I can take. Ever. It's never going to be worth it. So I'm never trading after hours again. And if you trade after hours, you need to know that it's a possibility that happens. So don't go in with like half your account size. That's just stupid. It's just stupid. The second thing is I'm never going to size in super big and then average down on a position that's 5 figures again. So I average down on a 5-figure position, and that's just, I can't do that. I can't do that. So I went too big in a choppy stock, and I averaged down in a stock where I had no opportunity to cut my losses. And that's just, it goes against all my rules. And I accept full responsibility for this loss because it's my fault. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have traded after hours. And, it is what it is. I accept it. But part of why it happened was because I was trading in after hours. This never would have happened during normal market hours because I would have cut my losses and gotten out. So I just need to know that, And it's very frustrating for me. I think the reason it's most frustrating is because I don't take these types of losses. And I posted this on my story, but in this month, I have 15 tickers. Last time I checked, maybe it's more after today. I had 15 tickers where I had made at least 4 figures on the ticker, at least $1,000. And I only had one ticker where I had lost more than $1,000. So 15 to 1. That's what it was before this. So it is very, very frustrating for me because I don't hold stocks when they go against me. And you might be wondering, why didn't you wait? CCIV is still a great investment long term. Well, I'm not a long-term trader. So if you're a huge fan of CCIV, you're welcome to hold it long-term. But I need that buying power. And what's even more frustrating for me is the fact that not having that buying power today probably cost me hundreds of thousands in the future. Because there were so many dips today, and everything was great, man. AITX, that was an insane dip. I nailed that with 100,000 shares, but if I had more buying power, I would have nailed it with a lot bigger size. Something else I didn't realize that you probably need to know, at least on Fidelity, even with a limited margin account, when I overnight shares, and I'm holding those shares in the morning, even if I sell, I don't get that buying power back. So I had like 70,000 in buying power, and I held 50,000 worth overnight. So in the morning when I sold, I thought I would get that money back, but I didn't. So today, for day trades, I only had 18,000 in buying power. And there was at least, $50,000, $60,000 worth of opportunities at a time that I would have been taking. So I made less profits today. And then MITI had a really nice dip today. And I would have added huge if I had that buying power, but I didn't. So I was barely able to add at all. So it's super frustrating. Super frustrating. I just, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. But, dealing with hardships is something that is part of being a trader. It's part of being a trader, and dealing with the emotions is part of life as well. It's part of life as well. Life has ups and downs, and the ups feel better when you know how awful it is in the downs. Just like when you're sick, you have a cold, you realize how much you take for granted being able to breathe normally, and that's kind of what this feels like to me. Some other things I want to talk about, just the fact that being on a super long green streak, to me, I feel like that's part of what made this happen, because every single day felt like more and more pressure to remain green. And I just felt like I was like walking closer and closer to the edge of a cavern where I was looking down, and there was a huge loss waiting for me, and I didn't know when it would be, but I knew it would happen eventually. And I think that's kind of what it was. Another thing I want to talk about is the psychology of humans, because loss aversion, you guys have probably heard of it, but it's actually a cognitive bias. And the reason for that is we as humans feel losses a lot more painfully than their equivalent, I guess, good feelings that come from the equivalent amount in gains. And statistically speaking, losses are perceived as around 2.5 times more powerful than their equivalent gain. Which is wild. It's wild. And it makes sense. It makes sense why this hurts so bad. And this other cognitive bias, it's called the endowment effect. It states that we adjust our level of ownership, and it becomes the baseline by which we judge future gains and losses. So you might be wondering what that means. That means that we as humans get used to anything. We get used to anything. And I'd gotten used to this month, my average profits for this month. And I was averaging, I don't know, about $5,000 a day profit. So to me, $5,000 a day was my new baseline. That was my new zero. That was my new neutral. If I was at $5,000 a day, I was like, okay. I mean, that's what it should be. If I had 10,000, I was happy. You know, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But negative 15,000? I do the math on that. If 5,000 is my new zero, and you feel losses 2.5 times more painfully, you take 5,000 plus the, what was it, 16? I forget what I lost. Was it 16,000? Oh, Fidelity closed. Yeah, it was 16,000. You take that, you add that up, multiply it by 2.5. That's a $54,000 loss. So that's what this feels like to me. This feels like a $54,000 loss. And it sucks, man. It sucks. Again, I don't wish this on anyone. But I hope you guys can learn from this. You know, learn from a couple of my mistakes. Learn not to trade after hours unless you're trading insanely small size, because executions are not guaranteed. They're not guaranteed. Also, be very careful of limit orders. That's another thing. You can't place limit orders that are farther than a certain percentage away from the price. I don't know what it is. And on Fidelity, for whatever reason, if you do that, it glitches out. And I think that's part of what caused this issue. So you can't sell market in after hours, which makes it really hard to cut really fast moving stocks. If you're trying to do it with a limit, but you're trying to not put the limit too far away. So you put the limit too close to the price, and then it goes below, and then you can't get out. So you can't sell market. It's just, I don't like after hours. And that's why I'm never trading after hours again. If you guys want to, you're welcome to, but keep in mind these risks. There's a lot more risk to after hours than I realized. Number 2, don't size in with half your account to a trade that's not where you've made all the money on your account. And don't average down huge in a position that's already going against you, because you're just setting yourself up for a worse loss. And again, I'm not worried about my future. I'm confident I will make this back. I mean, even after taking that loss and without knowing my profits on the day, I'm still up 66,000 on this month. After today's profits, it might be, 68 or something like that, 69. I have no idea. But I'm confident I'm still going to finish out this month strong by focusing on the best setups. But man, it sucks. It really sucks, guys. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Hopefully you learned some stuff from it, because I never want any of you guys to feel like this. And if you can learn from my loss and not have to experience this yourself, that would be incredible. Now, just as a heads up, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I also had my computer die today, my MacBook Pro, which is where I edit all my videos. So when it rains, it pours. And that means that I will probably not be able to edit this video like I normally do. So I might just upload it directly on my PC without editing at all. So if it's a little choppy, if the color grade seems off, if there's nothing cool, no music at the end, I apologize. But that's just what I'm dealing with right now. So I wanted to make sure I had this video for you guys. In terms of stocks to watch for tomorrow, literally every single OTC had a dip buy today, and there were so many opportunities. There's probably gonna be a lot more tomorrow. Just watch the ones that we normally watch. So literally just, you know, you can go back and watch some of my old videos. TSMP, AITX, ALYI, MITI was great, FORW, OZSC, all those. We had one company that had ice cream being in Walmart. That one went kind of crazy. I forget the ticker on that one. If someone wants to comment it, go for it. But yeah, guys, man, it sucks. Learn from my mistakes. I don't want you guys to ever feel like this. And again, hopefully you appreciate my transparency. I know I posted a lot of wins in a row, so you guys might have thought like, oh, he's faking it, you know, he's just making up wins. No, I post the winners and I post the losers. I just happen to have a lot of winners in a row. So hopefully you guys appreciate this transparency. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. So I'll see you in the next one. As always, let's grow better together.